not the ordered pairs. So 3/2, comma, -1/2, and 2, comma, -1/3. Perfect. So none of them is 0, comma, a number. So y equals mx plus b. In order to be able to use this equation, I have to be given a point as 0, comma, b, which is the y-intercept. These are not the y-intercept. None of them. Therefore, I have to use y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. I will be using either one of them. It doesn't matter, but I have to find the slope first. So let's find the slope. How do I find the slope? Well, I remember that the slope is the rise over run. Rise over run. And go back to the points, label them, x1, y1, x2, y2, so you don't make an error. So then the slope is y2 minus y1, -1/3 minus -1/2 plus 1/2. So negative will change that into positive, over x2, which is 2, minus 3/2. We continue. We have to find the least common denominator, numerator and denominator. Can anyone give us what is the least common denominator of 3 and 2? Anyone? Yes, very good. So I need to multiply this by 2 and this by 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So -2 plus 3 times 1. The denominator. Can anyone give us the least common denominator of 2 and 1? Two. Very good. So this one needs a 2, but this one does not need anything. You can write 1 if you want. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 3. The numerator, 1/6. The denominator, 1/2. How do I divide two fractions? I keep the fraction from the numerator and I multiply it by what?
The denominator.
Flipped, multiplicative inverse. So 2 over 1. I simplify and I get 1/3. So I have the slope. It's 1/3. And now it doesn't matter which point I use. If I use 2 comma -1/3, this is the 2, and this is the -1/3. I'm going to write it one more time. I prefer doing that, so I'm going to write it again. So y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1, where the slope is 1/3, x1 is 2, and y1 is -1/3. And you can say, why are you putting them like this? Because I prefer not to have nested parentheses. That's my preference. Y minus -1/3 is very easily changed into y plus 1/3. So I don't have to worry about it. Equals 1/3 x minus 2. I have to solve for y. Always. So I distribute 1/3, 1/3 x, 1/3 times -2, because I have to distribute it here and here, -2/3. And remember, 1/3 moves to the other side, -1/3. So that's your y. So I distributed 1/3 to these two terms. And also, in the same row, I moved 1/3, which is positive, to the other side and becomes negative. So this is y equals 1/3 x. Negative 3 over 3 is negative 1. Can anyone from this equation identify the slope? You can say you just determine it. Yes, of course. And can anyone identify the y-intercept in an ordered pair format from this equation? Can anyone give us the ordered pair format that is the y-intercept?
0, -1.
Right, of course. When x is 0, y is -1, as we know. Or is just this one, which is b. Now see, this is this. That's why I was able to identify the y-intercept. Any questions, please? Any questions? Any questions? Okay, so given 2 points, we know how to find the equation of the line. I like to look at a word problem. Okay, I'm on page 7. Okay. Are you interested in highway tolls, profit and loss analysis? What would you like to work on to finish up this section? Let's look at profit and loss. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So let's take a look. Say 61. Jamal decides to mow lawns to earn money. Awesome. The initial cost of his electric lawnmower is $250. So fixed cost, $250. Good. Electricity and maintenance costs are $4 per lawn. Variable cost, $4 per lawn. Okay. Formulate a function, c of x, part A, cost function, for the total cost of mowing x lawns. X. So c of x. So the total cost, total, has to consist of fixed plus variable. So fixed cost plus variable cost. Fixed is fixed, $250. But how do I write the variable cost? This is $4 per lawn, and X is the number of lawns. What will I write as the total variable cost? If the cost is $4 for each lawn, what will be the total variable cost for X lawns?
Four.
For 1, but we have for X.
One.
So for 1 is 4, but we want for X. So for
4x.
4x. So for 1 will be 4, for 2 will be 8, for 3 will be 12. Do we understand this formula?
No, I don't understand. Can you explain it one more time, please?
So for 1, he pays 4 cost. For 2, 8. For 3, 12. For X, 4x.
Okay, so we would just replace the variable by x number.
We are asked to find the total cost for X lawns. For X.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you. For part B, he determines the total profit function for the lawn mowing business is given by, so profit 16x minus 250. Find the function for the total revenue from mowing X lawns. How much does he charge per lawn? Okay, so first of all, we have to remember that the profit equals revenue minus total cost. He determined his profit function. I'm just going to replace it here. 16x minus 250. We do not have the revenue function of x, but we do have the cost right here. When I subtract the cost, I have to subtract by distributing negative sign to both. Negative 250 and minus 4x. I'm adding 250 to both sides, and I'm moving 4x to the other side. It's negative, it becomes positive. So then R of x equals 20x. Can anyone, by looking at the revenue function, can anyone tell us how much he charges? He charges ... per lawn. By looking at the revenue function, we realize that he's charging how much per lawn? Yes, indeed, 20 times x. So if he mows one lawn, he gets 20, 2 gets 40, 3, 60, and so on and so forth. Part C. How many lawns must Jamal mow before he begins making a profit? So there is something called break-even point, or break-even. The break-even is when the profit is 0, or when the revenue equals the cost. He's not making money. He's in business, but he's not making money. But he's not losing money either. So all we have to do is just take the profit and set it equal to 0. Or set equal the revenue to the cost and see how much we get. How many lawns he should mow. So the easiest one, we have 16x minus 250 equals 0. I'm using the first option. You can use the second option, you'll get the same answer. Of course, I have to move 250 and divide by 16. So 250 divided by 16. How much is that? I am looking for my calculator. It was right here. So let's see how much. How many lawns? So divided by 16. Okay, so 15.6. I can't say 15.6, so I have to say 16. Round it up. So x is approximately 16 lawns. So he will break even if he mows 16 lawns. From 16 on, he will make profit. Actually, from 16, he will make profit because he was 15 point something. This was an application of linear functions, creating the total cost function, determining the revenue based on the profit. Please remember the profit is revenue minus cost, total revenue minus total cost. And then the break even is when either the profit is 0 or the revenue, same thing, profit 0 or revenue equals cost. The result will be the same.